Hey everyone! Today we are going to explore an interesting effect. When you click a button, confetti will fly out of it. You might immediately think of using the canvas element, but no, I have got a great news. We are going to use the web animation API instead. So, get comfortable and let's get started. First things, what about browser support? Every modern browser supports it, and those that don't, well, there are probably some outdated, unrecognizable relics and we don't need to bother with them. Let's add a button to our HTML that will act as the particle generator. Styling it? I know you guys are smart and can style it however you like, so let's not waste time on that and move on. The particles we create can be any HTML tag, be span, div or even a custom element. It's up to you. I'll call mine Spark. We'll add some basic styles. Border radius 50% to make it round, pointer events none, because we don't want it to interfere with user interactions. Position fixed, so it stays in place starting from the top left corner. Now let's get to the fun part, JavaScript. Should we check if the web animation API is supported? Why not? You never know what kind of browser someone might be using. Next, we'll find our button and listen for click events, which will trigger the Spark animation function. The function will create 40 particles, each positioned at the mouse click coordinates. The createSpark function will generate our custom Spark element and insert it into body. The particles are now in the DOM, but since they have position fixed and no size or color, they are invisible. Let's write a function called generateSize to create random size between 3 and 30 pixels. Inside createParticle, we'll generate a size and apply it as the particle's width and height. We'll also add a function, generateColor, to randomly pick a color. Next, we'll create a function to randomly offset each particle's position from the click point by up to 60 pixels in any direction. Time to animations. We'll store the animation in a variable. You'll see later why we did it. The animation function takes an array of keyframes, each one representing a stage of animation. The first keyframe sets the initial position and opacity. The second keyframe moves the particle outward and fades it out with the opacity 0. This is very similar to CSS add keyframes animations. Now we need to define some animation properties, just like we would with CSS. Duration, a random value between 400 and 1000 milliseconds. Using the animation curve. Delay, a small random delay between 0 and 150 milliseconds. In CSS, we'll set opacity 0 for all particles. Since they have a delay, we don't want them to be visible before the animation starts. Once the animation is done, we'll remove the particles from the DOM. It's simple, clean, and most importantly, it works just like CSS animations. Before we refine our code, let's handle one more case. Our button is a button. Unlike a div, it can be activated with the keyboard. Let's focus on the button and hit enter. The particles should appear, but we don't see them. Let's log the event object. Oops, we got zeros for client X and client Y. If client X and client Y are 0, we'll grab current target, which is our button, and calculate its center coordinates. Then we'll pass those coordinates to our particle generator. Now keyboard activation works. Let's try it with a mouse click. It also works. The particles now always fly out from the correct position, making the code more elegant. Let's wrap everything into a particle class. The constructor will take the event object, mouse or keyboard, a settings object with the default values for number of particles, size range, spread distance, animation delay, custom tag name, min and max animation duration. We'll store these values inside the instance and initialize everything step by step. We'll move the logic for start and end transformation points into separate functions. On every click, we'll create a new particle object and pass it the event. Everything works as before. Now let's tweak some values and see how it looks. Smaller particles. Let's set size between 2 and 10 pixels. Shorter particle lifespan. Let's change the duration to 100–800 milliseconds. Particles don't have to be circles. Want squares? Just remove border radius. Want outlines? Add a border in CSS or dynamically set one in JavaScript. Want emojis or images? That works too. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Have questions? Drop a comment. Not subscribed yet? Hit the button. And I'll see you in the next one.